Hey guys, how's it going? Kevin Cleary here with a first impression video. And as you can see, we have a Civivi. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the pouch. You guys all know what is in there. We are going to take a look at this knife. This is the Sokoke. And I have to say the hype on this is real. Um, you know, I've been wanting to get my hands on one of these for a while. They pretty well sold out everywhere right away. And so it's just a matter of waiting until Civivi gets a second run put out. But that's been a little bit of time in coming. So I saw one of these for sale on Canadian Knife and Gear, and went ahead and picked this up on the secondary market. And I have to say, I'm really glad that I did, because this knife is excellent. I mean, it is so good. And I've heard all the other reviewers talking about how great it is. And you know how it goes. A lot of times you go, is it really that good? Like, or is it just the newest thing from Civivi? And most Civivis are pretty good. But this really is a step above. So first of all, let's point out this is a Ray Laconico design. Ray Laconico is so prolific in the knife world that, I always kind of expect that his popularity is going to die off. Okay, I'm like, how many good designs can this guy have in him? How many designs can this guy come up with that end up hitting pretty big and being very popular in the community? And he just keeps coming up with them. Now, they always tend to be fairly clean, simple designs, and I think that's what makes them appealing to people. Is he's got this very clear aesthetic that I, for one, find very appealing, and clearly a lot of other people do as well, because you can't find one of these anywhere. Now, I will say this: go ahead and check those channel sponsors in the description box. There's DLT Trading down there, there's Blade Ops down there, and there's White Mountain Knives. If you use my affiliate link in the description or use my discount code, that is very helpful. I only have discount code for White Mountain Knives, by the way, but that does help the channel a whole lot, and it does at least give you 3 options to start with if you're looking for one of these. And I feel like, I don't want to lie to you, but Blade Ops may actually have some in stock. Don't get your hopes up too much, but I think that'd be where I would start. And then, if they don't have it, check out the other 2, White Mountain Knives and DLT Trading. And just, all of them have the feature where you can throw your email in there and get an email when they're back in stock. And I recommend you do, because these really are good. If you don't have one, this is probably, if this is not the best thing Civivi has done, it is on the very short list. It is truly excellent. So let's talk about why that is. And I do have one minor issue. So it's really the only thing that isn't perfect about this knife, and it is on this blade. So the blade is a drop point blade with a flat grind. It's nice and thin, very slicey. All right. Great overall, shape and sharpness, and those kinds of things are awesome, but it's bead blasted, which is a little disappointing. I would much rather, of course, see a satin finish here, but I guess, it's one of those things where you can overlook it because everything else is so well done. In terms of flipping action, you can see it is a front flipper. The front flipper works very well, and I'm not a big front flipper guy, so I always find it a little bit awkward. So the fact that I can do it is is pretty promising for everyone else who's watching. It also has thumb stud deployment, which is the way that I normally deploy the knife. It's definitely what I prefer. The other thing that I want to touch on while we're talking about, there's a number of details that this gets right, and that's my initial impression. It's just that, this is one of those Civivis where they went a little above and beyond, added a few extra touches, and all of those extra touches are very much appreciated. So we've got some jimping here as well as some jimping here. I really like that. It definitely gives you a little more confidence in hand, and I've got to just, other knife makers, or even Civivi on your other models, take note. That is a very worthwhile detail. Moving on from there, we've got ceramic bearing pivot. really nice detent. So the deployment on this is really, really excellent. The lock bar is nicely just cut out there. So this is a really, to me, a very classy and a very well finished way of doing a liner lock, right? It's a fully nested liners, but then just the part that you need to be able to unlock is cut out so that you can get your finger in there. This is really, really nice, and I love to see that. As we move down the handle here, the other thing we have to notice is that this handle is 3D contoured. So in hand, it feels fantastic. It really, really is a great feeling knife. It's a bit small, and you guys know I tend to like the larger stuff, but the size on this, even though it's small, it has 3 7/8 inches of grip area, almost 4 inches of grip area, which is fantastic and sort of redeems the overall size of this knife. Now, would I still prefer a 3.5 inch blade? Yes, absolutely. I'd be a little more excited if this was a full 8 inch knife overall, but as it stands, I'm not going to complain. Lastly, before I give you the rest of the specs here, notice this clip. We get a recess section in the handle. You can see it here on the non-carry side, right on the show side. So we've got this nicely recessed combined with those flush screws, means there is nothing in the way of the material getting under this clip. Okay, so another detail done right, and that I think is the big thing about this knife. There's a few little extras here that come together to make this really, really good. So with all of that stuff going on, the 3D machining, the really, really dialed in action, the nicely accessible lock bar, the really, really clean look created by the nested liners instead of just slabs over, stainless steel that's exposed. All of those little things come together to make this really, really exceptional in Civivi's lineup and in the budget knife lineup overall. This is really, really something good. And so I have to say, there's a reason that all the reviewers are ranting and raving about these, because they are spectacular. So I'm pretty comfortable saying this has got to be the best thing that I've looked at from Civivi. There are lots of great Civivi models out there. We've talked about that in the past. I think I've done a whole video on nothing but, here's the top 10 Civivi knives that you could pick up. This really, if I was going to redo that video, and maybe I should redo that video, but this would be near the top of the list. It is really, really spectacular. All right, so there you go, guys. Oh yeah, I don't think I ever did get to the specs, so I better share that with you before I wrap it up. It's 7 5/8 overall, so a little smaller than I like to see. Again, 3 5/16 on the blade length, 4 5/16 close, so just a little over 4 ounces, meaning this does carry, very, very diminutively. You don't even really notice you've got it. 3.78, 3 7/8. Wow, my brain is not connected to my mouth right now, guys. 3 grip area, which is fantastic. Tons and tons of space. And finally, 3.8 ounces, which is not bad at all for a knife of this size. So yeah, overall, I am really, really impressed with this. I'll say it again. This has got to be one of the best things Civivi has ever done, if not the very best. All right, thanks a lot for watching. If you find some of these out there, go ahead and throw it in the comments. I know there are a couple of people looking for these. I've actually had people talk to me about it. So if you're browsing at a retailer and you see that they have these in stock, please put a comment down below so that others who are watching would like to pick one up could do so. Don't forget to check the channel sponsors. That's a big, big help. Hopefully you can get one of these at White Mountain Knives or Blade Ops or DLT Trading, and that helps the channel as well. Finally, let me know what you think about this knife down in the comments, and we will talk to you soon.